November 27th, 2016, First Sunday of Advent.
A reading from the book of Isaiah. This is what Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In days to come, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established as the highest mountain and raised above the hills. All nations shall stream toward it. Many peoples shall come and say, "Come, let us climb the Lord's mountain to the house of the God of Jacob, that he may instruct us in his ways, and we may walk in his paths. For from Zion shall go forth instruction, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He shall judge between the nations, and impose terms on many peoples. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. One nation shall not raise the sword against another, nor shall they train for war again. O house of Jacob, come, let us walk in the light of the Lord." The word of the Lord.
Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. I rejoiced because they said to me, "We will go up to the house of the Lord." And now we have set foot within your gates, O Jerusalem. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. Jerusalem, built as a city with compact unity, to it the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. According to the decree for Israel, to give thanks to the name of the Lord. In it are set up judgment seats, seats for the house of David. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. May peace be within your walls, prosperity in your buildings. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. Because of my brothers and friends, I will say, peace be within you. Because of the house of the Lord our God, I will pray for your good. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord. Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord.
A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Romans. Brothers and sisters, you know the time. It is the hour now for you to awake from sleep. For our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. The night is advanced, the day is at hand. Let us then throw off the works of darkness and put on the armor of light. Let us conduct ourselves properly as in the day, not in orgies and drunkenness, not in promiscuity and lust, not in rivalry and jealousy, but put on the Lord Jesus Christ and make no provision for the desires of the flesh. The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. In those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day that Noah entered the ark. They did not know until the flood came and carried them all away. So it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be out in the field. One will be taken and one will be left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken and one will be left. Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know on which day your Lord will come. Be sure of this. If the master of the house had known the hour of night when the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and not let his house be broken into. So too, you also must be prepared, for at an hour you do not expect, the Son of Man will come." The Gospel of the Lord.
November 27th, the first Sunday of Advent. The first reading comes from Isaiah 2, 1-5. This is a hymn that's found both in Isaiah and the book of the prophet Micah. And it speaks about how the mountain of the Lord will be sanctified, that people will come to it from all nations, because God is dwelling among his people. And in fact, when God dwells among his people, it will bring peace to the earth. They'll hammer their swords into plowshares, their spears into sickles, into pruning hooks. That God's peace will be so profound that it'll change the earth, that which we've lived up to this point will be transformed into God's kingdom. Notice that we're speaking about an apocalyptic future event, that at some point in the future, God will cause this to happen. Because one of the themes of the first Sunday of Advent is not only that Jesus is coming to be born in Bethlehem, but also Jesus is coming in glory for the end of time. It's a continuation of the theme that we already heard last Sunday on the solemnity of Christ the King. The second reading is from Romans 13, 11-14. The time has come, we have to wake up, we have to live in the light. It's an apocalyptic image that up to this time we've been living in the dark. We've been hiding our actions. Now the light of Christ has come, so that there's no more time for drunken orgies, promiscuity, licentiousness, wrangling, or jealousy. We have to put on the armor of Jesus Christ. That we are fighting a spiritual battle, a battle in which we're children of light. That's a message that dates all the way back to the monks of Qumran, those celibate Jewish monks who were waiting for the day of the Lord. It's true also for us that we have to fight a spiritual battle against the forces of evil, because it is so easy to fall into temptation. The Gospel is from Matthew 24, 37-44. And this continues the idea of the end of the world. How will it happen? Like in Noah's day when the flood came and people weren't expecting it. Be ready, because 2 men will be in the fields, one's taken, another's left. 2 women grinding, one taken, another left. Now some of our Protestant brothers and sisters believe that the person who's taken is being caught up into the heaven with rapture. That means caught up into heaven before the end of the world to reign with God for 1,000 years. And that's a misunderstanding of the messages in the New Testament. That 1,000 years is not a special time when certain Christians get to reign with Jesus. The 1,000 years began with the cross, And we're already living in that millennial period. And remember, 1,000 in the book of Revelation is a symbolic number. It simply means a long time. We're in that intermediate period between the cross and the end of the world. And how long will it last? It'll last a long time. When will it end? We don't know, so we should always be ready for the end, because it could come at any time. And so, what does the author mean when he talks about one person taken, another left? When he uses the phrase taken, it means that person dies. Not that a person is caught up in a special way into the heavens, but the person is killed in the violence that happens just before the end of the world. And so we should be ready, just like an owner of a household is ready for when the burglar shows up. If he's ready, then the burglar doesn't get anything. That's how we should be ready for the end of the world, because we never know what is going to happen. But when it does happen, there should be nothing left unsaid and nothing left undone. And may God bless us.